My ex-girlfriend tried to get me involved in adult parties and polygamy. I dropped her like a hot potato and got her fired unintentionally. Hello, True Story. I'd like to share this quick story that happened to me in 2005. I was 26 years old at the time and had just graduated from college and beginning my career. My first job pretty much ever was right after I graduated from college. I had zero experience, but luckily I knew some people that knew some people that helped me get in, and joining a fraternity helped me as well. So you guys, if you're considering school or anything like that, you don't have any experience, do as best you can when it comes to networking. Get to know as many people as possible, and you never know who will be there to help you out. Anyway, I landed this job. I was interviewed by 3 different people. One person was going to be the team lead for my department. It's my ex-girlfriend, Maria. She was gorgeous. During the interview, it was kind of hard to concentrate, but I got myself together, of course, and I got through it, and they loved me. But it was just undeniably tough to really focus even when I started going to work. And what made matters even worse, Maria started to flirt with me. We had company outings often, usually around lunch, so if they hired a new person in the department, and our department was pretty big, we'd go out for lunch, take them out to lunch, whatever they chose. And every time, Maria and I would ride together. I usually would ride with her. Each time, she flirted more and more. They started off innocent, just asking about my family and things like that. Eventually, we're talking about exes and relationships, and it even got to the point where we discussed bedroom action. I wasn't bothered by it when she brought it up. I didn't ever try to get with her though, knowing that she was technically my boss and I could probably get fired for it. But I think about it all the time. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I really wanted her. I wanted my job more though, so I wasn't willing to take that risk on my own. But when she initiated, I didn't hesitate. And I didn't feel bad because if I'd initiate and try to hit on her and she doesn't like me and I just took things the wrong way, I'm the bad guy. It's all over for me. But the way I feel about her and she has the guts to come at me and I accept it, it's all good, right? Well, let me continue with the story. So we're talking all the time and eventually we started texting each other. Now, most people in the department had each other's numbers. That's just how the departments worked, because sometimes we work from home. So all forms of communication were important because it took a team to get these projects done. But having each other's numbers was convenient as well. But I remember there were bad thunderstorms in my area. By the way, I lived an hour away from the company, but I had planned to move when my lease was up. But anyway, I was working from home this day and power went out in my neighborhood. Bad, severe thunderstorms, and I couldn't reach anyone via Teams, and I was offline. So I reached out to Maria just to let her know, hey, my power is down. That's why I'm not online. But as soon as it gets up, I'll be back online. That was via text. She calls and says, well, if you got some free time, then I got some free time as well, because I'm having power outage as well. I went out to my porch and we're sitting there talking. Now, I never knew where she lived, but she only lived 15 minutes away from me. I always assumed everyone was in the same area closer to the company. I knew 1 or 2 drove from about an hour away from other directions, but I thought Maria lived close by. I guess I just didn't know. She told me, she said, you're not too far from me. She suggested that maybe we hang out sometime, outside of work. I immediately was thinking, F yes. I knew right then and there that I was not imagining all of this flirting she was doing with me at work. I knew it was real and I wanted it. We began going to lunch together, and when we work from home, which was about 3 days a week, mostly we talk on the phone during lunch, and we got pretty close. So from the beginning, as much as I wanted to think with the head in my pants, I knew what I wanted ultimately, and I'm not the type of person that just sleeps around and bangs women because I'm attracted to them or want to sleep with them. No, I want something serious. And I made that clear to her. I want a family. I'm looking for a serious relationship. And Maria told me that's exactly what she's looking for. And I remember us discussing things like open relationships and things like that because of something I heard on the internet. And she's telling me, "Oh, that's disgusting. I would never. Why do people agree to that?" She clearly was a liar because she was involved in adult activities and parties. But why try to get into a relationship if this is something that you're into? She told me how I should keep our relationship under wraps. By the way, we started dating. This is about 3 months into me working there. She told me that I should keep things under wraps. And at work, we keep it work. But outside of work, we have a situation. We're together. I said, that's fine. And she eventually told me how she got in trouble with HR before because she was talking to someone outside of work that was in the department with her. But she swore they never had anything, nothing close to what we had. I believed it at the time, but getting to know her and knowing how freaky she was, there's no way she just had a casual friendship with the opposite gender. Not her. That's not even possible. Not for her. So like I said, about 3 months in, and we're dating, and she tells me that I don't have much experience. And she could tell. I said, experience? With what? She said, with women. I can tell. I had to kiss you first, and you haven't even tried to sleep with me. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest here. I was only with one woman before Maria. As bad as I wanted her, and as gorgeous as she was, I just didn't know how to go about things. And I told her that. I said, yeah, you're right. I've been with one woman in college. That's it. She laughed. She laughed, and I felt stupid. Why did I tell her that? She's going to think I'm less than, and she's not going to be with me. She grabbed me and started kissing me, and then told me that bedroom action is very important to her, and she thinks it's important in a relationship. And that night, we did it. All night. She's like a freaking animal, man. Like just the way she was acting and how passionate she was just made me so confident and made me feel so good. I'm not even that experienced and I'm doing all of this to her. I'm making her make these sounds and feel this way. She's shaking. It was just amazing. Afterwards, we were talking about a lot of stuff, work and other things. And I brought up, so you mentioned that bedroom action is very important to you and it's important in a relationship. We've technically been together for about 3 months. What have you been doing since if you haven't been sleeping with me? She looked at me and said, what do you think, I'm some promiscuous woman or something? I said, no, not at all. Why would you say that? Why didn't you bring this up earlier that bedroom action was important to you? She says, why can't you be a man and initiate it? That hit me hard. Maybe 15 seconds of silence. Then she apologized and said she should not have said that, and she's sorry. She said, I just got triggered because I thought you were calling me something, but now that I think about it, it was a valid question. There was nothing wrong with you asking me that. I truly apologize. She leaned over and kissed me, and she went down and started doing something that I'm not going to say here, true story. It was her way, I guess, of making up for what she did. I don't know how she pulled that out of me because I was already drained. But anyway, she went and took a shower. When she got out, she told me that, so to answer your question, yes, of course, I pleased myself, and that's what I've been doing. You know, I really liked you, and I didn't want to rush you, and I couldn't always tell you that you really didn't have that much experience, but I like that about you. I don't want someone that's for the streets. True story. These were her words. She used these words. I don't want someone that's for the streets. But what I found out about her, she basically is for the streets. Another 3 months goes by, and I swear to you, true story, I am not exaggerating. At least 5 times a week, we were at it. We were at it. And if we weren't, it's because of her menstrual cycle. She'd have to come over, or I needed to come over so she could go down on me. This woman's bedroom energy was unlike anyone, I'm sure. She'd always send me pictures, and those 3 months, I thought, wow, she really, really liked me. But have you guys ever heard the saying, find me a beautiful woman and I'll find you a guy that's sick of sleeping with her? Or something along those lines? Well, I got to that point. Guys, as gorgeous as she was, in true story, you know what? I'm going to attach a photo of her here. So please just take a look at it, but don't share it. And don't share my email as well. All right, let me look real quick. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah, she fine. I'll give you that. You're right. You're right. Wow. But as gorgeous as she was, body amazing, face gorgeous, smelled good, very passionate, intimate, I got tired of sleeping with her. I started to dread it. I wasn't looking forward to it. So she'd call me or text me and say, come over. I need you now. I'd head over, and on my way there, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be able to get it up. We just did it back to back this whole week. I'm not going to be able to do anything. But every time I stood tall just fine. But I was not into it a lot of times. She would do most of the work and she loved it. Most guys would probably say in the comments, dude, this sounds like a pretty easy relationship. Why are you complaining? What a weirdo. I don't know, guys. Maybe I just was not experienced enough. And I'm here just to tell my truth. But one day, she called me to come over on my way home from work. She claimed she wanted to stop me before leaving work, and we go to one of the break rooms after everyone left and do what we should have been doing before. Now, once before, we actually almost did it at work, but all we did was kiss. She was asking if she could stop at my place, and I told her I was tired and planning on going to bed early. She's been wearing you out. That mean tongue lashed out at me again. Are you turning me down? Are you cheating on me? Or are you not man enough to keep up with my needs? And she hung up. True story, I truly was exhausted, so I didn't call back and intended to put my phone on the charger in my kitchen and go to bed early. It was a Friday, so if I had woken up later that night and stayed up, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But she called as I was pulling into my parking spot at my condominium. She started to apologize and said she should not have said that to me, and was asking if she can just stop over to talk, and that's it. I said, yes, that's fine, and I told her I'll leave my door unlocked, but I'll be in the bed, just come on back. About 5 minutes later, I hear her coming in, and I was in the bed, but still awake. She gets completely nude and crawls in bed. She doesn't take no for an answer, dude. Dang, she does not take no for an answer. She gets completely nude and crawls in bed. She says, don't worry, I just don't want to get in your bed with clothes on. With clothes that I had on all day. Oh, okay. We're talking, then she tells me that she needs to tell me something, and that there's something that I don't know about her. I said, okay, what is it? She says, well, I sort of have an addiction. I said, to what? She said, to bedroom action. She's a sex addict. I said, oh, well, I'm not surprised. Then I said, wait, hold on. So do you cheat on me? Do you just sleep with random people? She says, not really. I said, what the heck does that mean? We don't use protection. She says, I'm clean, don't worry. I said, why are you cheating on me? Is this a joke? She proceeded to tell me how she's always wanted a polygamous relationship and was wondering if I was interested and we find others to join us together. I said, absolutely not. She said, well, what about an open relationship? I don't tell, you don't tell, but we keep what we have. I said, no, what's wrong with you? She says, well, I just want you to come down to a party with me tomorrow then. You need to open up. I go every month, and tomorrow is one of them. I said, what party? She said, it's an adult party. And when she explained further, I understood it was one of those brothel type parties or something. I said, or something like that. I said, absolutely not. I told Maria I was going to get tested and we're done. I don't want this. Maria didn't fight or argue. She was just asking if we could have bedroom action one more time before she left. I said no. And true story, this woman said, that's okay. I'll find some guy at the gas station or Walmart and make it his lucky day. See you at work Monday and don't be late. I got on the phone with one of my buddies and told him everything. He agreed that I go get checked and leave her alone. 2 weeks later, I was called into the HR's office. They sent me an email. She sat me down and explained that I was not in trouble, but they want me to be honest. It had been brought to their attention that Maria and I have been carrying on an inappropriate relationship, and she treats me differently from other groups in our department, treating me better. I almost lied, but I couldn't. I said yes. We'd been in a relationship for almost 7 months now. They were asking if we'd ever had an inappropriate relations in the building. I told them we kissed in a break room and in a conference room before, but everything else was outside the building. The HR was asking if we ever used company time to be together. And I told them twice we took an extended lunch and were together at the park. Then I apologized and told her that I'd understand if they want to fire me. She told me, son, you have nothing to worry about. You're not being fired. The next day we had a new team lead and Maria was fired. I got all kinds of text messages from Maria. What did you tell them? You ruined my career, you little bee. I blocked her on everything and never heard from her again. My lease was coming up and I was happy to be moving out and closer to my job. I stayed with that company for 8 years total and left when I didn't get a team lead position. I left for another position where I was a manager at a different company. Not sure what happened to Maria. I did see that she was still on LinkedIn and working at a different company. I'm sure much hasn't changed about her. Men, be careful of these bedroom addicts out here. Not worth it. I don't care how hot she is. Wow. This Maria is a freak. Can we do it one last time, please? Dude, the part where you had her come over, you told her, I'm tired. Okay, we can come talk. She comes in and strips all her clothes off. This girl. Oh, yeah, man. Guys, you got to vet, man. You got to vet and know who you're dealing with these days. This girl, in the beginning, oh, yeah, I don't do the open relationship thing. Ugh, that's nasty. Not for me. And here she is going to these parties where they're probably having orgies and all types of stuff. Some disgusting people out here, man. Some people, it's like, here's the thing, man. I grew up just knowing, oh, I'm going to have a family. You know, I want a wife. I want kids. You know, I want all that. And, you know, my wife is going to want me and I'm just going to want her and we're going to be happy. Man, over the years, I've met different people, man, and just nobody's on that, man. Unfortunately, you know, you'll meet somebody and you'll think you found that and you get excited. And then slowly you start realizing like, they were just lying. You know, people will lie. I don't know. People lie to get things that they want from you, out of you. It really sucks, man. It's unfortunate, but I mean, hang in there, dude. I emailed you back. I'm starting to email you guys back. Before I read your emails, I'll reply back to you just to let you know, because I want you guys to jump in the comments and say something. But yeah, dude. salute to you, man. I'm glad you got rid of her. I hope you're good. You say you went and got tested. Hope you're good. She's sleeping with any and everybody. She's going to Walmart, just picking up randoms. Oh my gosh, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. If you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.